Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Best Darn Everything. I almost said anything again. I'm still kind of figuring out the intro on this one, but this is like our offshoot podcast from our regular Simpsons show, Best Darn Diddley, which I promise you does still exist. We're just having scheduling issues. But this is a show about things other than The Simpsons. And you know what? Before we get all that out of the way, my name is Miles, better known as Mr. Most Days Off. Joining me, as always, your co-host with the most, Richie the Whiz Kid.
What is up? Cheers to everybody tonight. Yeah, we're getting to see a little behind the scenes on, this is just normal scheduling-wise for us for Best Darn Diddley. We've gone multiple weeks in the past without doing it, even though we release an episode every week. So this is kind of fun for people that have never actually gotten to be part of the ride before to see, how sporadic it can be at times.
Or it's the worst, how it's made ever. It's one of the two.
Yeah. 6 days to air, except we need 30 days.
And less interesting. But it's going to make things more interesting today is our very awesome guest and football fans, the two of them. We're going to talk about it. It's sports day after all, but joining the podcast, they've been here both to talk about The Simpsons, but this is, I believe, no, we've also talked about your book. Man, I'm all over the place tonight. It's fine. Welcome to the show, Patty Cakes and Ashes Von Nightmare.
Oh.
Hello.
It's backwards. It's backwards.
I always do. I'm going to point to this Raiders helmet above my shoulder.
Yeah.
Nope. Still got it. There we go. I'm so bad at this.
Same. I'll be trying to pick this nostril, and I get this nostril every single time.
Oh, yeah. It's you go to pick this nostril, and all of a sudden you're just fuck you, everybody. Total mess up.
But very excited to have you guys. We decided we were going to talk about football today, mostly the Super Bowl, because we just all watched the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55, or, Tom Brady's just, what is it? Serenading is singing. Coronation, that's the thing, where you get, knighted or whatever. He's a legend. He has more Super Bowl wins than, most of, the most record-winning teams.
Any other team
after tonight, yeah.
There you go. It's even more incredible. But you know what, guys? We should mention, because I want to make sure to plug it, because I'm clearly just a basket case tonight. But PJ Rahal, I call you Patty Cakes. You have an actual name, and you wrote a book. Tell people about your book real quick. Show it off and all that good stuff. I've read it. It's amazing. It's lots of fun.
It's How Much Do You Tip an Exorcist? And not just a catchy title. It has some short stories, some horror haikus, some two-sentence stories, which I suppose are short stories.
Even shorter stories, really, if you think about it.
Shorter stories. But this is illustrated by the amazing and incredible Jeanette Andromeda. I wrote the words, and she drew the drawings, some of these. She's very, very talented. She does some amazing work. And, this is on sale pretty much anywhere you can get books. But I recommend getting it at Oxeye Media. OXEYE media.com. Cut
Bezos or whoever's taken over for him right out of the equation.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
I love that. I love that movie where he's going on to live his career job or his dream job or whatever. Guys, so let's start with the positive. Ashes, we're definitely going to talk about some other stuff, but let's start with the positives. Overall, everybody have a good time watching the Super Bowl tonight? Anybody have anything they want to share about their game watching experience?
Super Grover made an appearance in a commercial.
He did.
And that was fantastic.
And we have been talking a lot about Muppets and puppets lately, because I will be appearing in the next couple of months on the TV show The Other Side of Midnight as the puppet Will Mouse, who is named after Mary Shelley's son William. That is what she used to call him when he was younger. Mary Shelley, of course, being the novelist behind Frankenstein.
Hell yeah. And if people go and follow you on social media right now, they'll actually see your profile picture is your character, the puppet character.
Yes, Will Mouse. He's like a little. My sister-in-law. What'd she say? She said.
He's like a cross between Alf and Oscar the Grouch.
Nice. So that Sesame Street commercial is my front runner for a good chunk of the game for my favorite Super Bowl commercial. It did eventually get passed up, but we'll come back around to that. So Great Super Bowl commercial. You know, I'm not saying great across the board. There was pretty weak Super Bowl commercials, really, but there was a couple of shining spots that I do want to talk about.
Bud Light disappointed me in a big way.
Which one disappointed you?
So the one where they brought back everybody from every single commercial that they've done over the past 30 years.
I think I missed that one, to be honest. I had to step out, and I think that one. I think I came in on like the tail end, and it was like the Bud Light night or something like that.
It really wasn't that good. I feel like the commercials as a whole were just kind of lacking.
Yeah, I agreed. Nothing was very bold. Like there was no like usually there's some like kind of risky like fun commercials, and this was just very bland stuff.
I don't know, the Amazon Michael B. Jordan one.
That was a good commercial.
That one was funny, yes.
Although I had seen that before. Like I saw the beginning of it as a skippable YouTube ad, so I hadn't seen the whole thing.
It's so much better when you're watching it as part of the Super Bowl. I don't know why.
But isn't that part of like how it's been now for multiple years of the Super Bowl, where like a lot of the ads are viewable
all the good
days
ones
or even a week before the Super Bowl, which takes all the fun out of it. And it's like, I get it, you want to promote your product, but like
But that's not the point of you spending all that money to put your time slot up. It's to entertain the people, damn it.
Well, I mean, you got to leave a lasting impression, and when I've already seen it, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
A Reddit ad.
I was going to say the 5-second Reddit slot.
Impressive as fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
That's already trending around on Facebook and everywhere.
Right before the Robin Hood ad. The Matthew McConaughey
3D videos.
He looks, if that's not the camera, like because he was flat, like he looks like he's had some work done, and it.
Are you sure that wasn't a Doubles commercial where it wasn't really him?
No, this was that Doubles commercial was weird too.
Honestly, who is it? The voice, it's not Christina Aguilera. The lead singer of No Doubt. What's her name?
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani. She was in a commercial, and had they not said, "Hi, I'm former pop singer Gwen Stefani," I would have had no idea who she was, because like her face just looks a lot different than I remember it being.
She at least hasn't had a ton of work done. Like she's aging naturally.
But we do not comment
I'm just
on
saying,
the way people look.
I'm not
do not do that.
She's aging naturally. I got your back.
I disagree with that entirely, but that's fine. With all statements just said, it's fine. I would agree too with the Matthew McConaughey commercial. He looks a little weird, but the more important part of that commercial is I think that we can all agree that's definitely not the first time Matthew McConaughey has gotten stuck in a vending machine.
I know.
Like that's definitely happened before.
Might be the most recent time.
Yeah, they got it on camera for the 3D Doritos commercial.
They should have let him talk like the way he did in the car commercials he used to do, where he like says very slow, somber words that make you think that it's like a moment of ecstasy while he's driving. He should have done that while inside the vending machine. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't see that commercial, but like that would just have been funny to me.
Yeah,
yeah, like his Lincoln car thing or whatever.
Yes, like talk like that while in the vending machine.
He wrote a book and he did the audio book for it, and he reads it like he's doing the Lincoln commercials, but like stoned so far out of my like. One time I was in the desert and I met a coyote. I named him Jerry.
And we played a bongo.
It sounds like a monologue from True Detective, which means I'll probably enjoy what he has to say.
I did a whole bunch of peyote. I made love to a cactus at midnight.
So all of those commercials are great, but to be honest, my favorite of the night was actually the Shaggy commercial with the snacks with Mila Kunis and what's his
Ashton
there you
Kutcher.
go. Yeah, the got punk guy.
Really?
I love that commercial.
Really?
I think eye roll reacts from patty cakes over there, so I feel like we're going to disagree on this one.
Oh yeah,
I thought they were paid to act.
I hated the song, like when it came out, and it's
that was such a good album.
It's like, so your defense against being caught cheating on your significant other is, no, that's not me, but I saw you do. Nope,
that wasn't me.
Like, that's called gaslighting.
I'm not saying it's not gaslighting, but like it definitely exists. It's a good commentary on the way things are.
I mean, like, it's fine to do it against Ashton Kutcher because he's always portrayed as an idiot, except he's like Dolph Lundgren. He's got like advanced degrees in biochemistry.
Doesn't he like speak in like Congress hearings or something like that?
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher is actually part of an organization that is trying to end human trafficking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. He speaks in front of Congress. He's trying to get legislation passed. He's trying to reunite women and those who are victims of sex trafficking with their families. Like, he does a lot of stuff that he doesn't speak about, behind the scenes. But, as an actor, we see him like, oh, he's the punk guy.
He's Kelso.
And that's the persona
kind of clueless,
that, like, oh, I didn't eat your Cheetos as I'm covered with Cheeto dust and everything. Like, okay, okay, that's what TV Ashton Kutcher would believe. I will say
on camera
that the end was him with Shaggy saying, "Oh, that's the first time that's ever worked."
But that just plays into it even more. That plays into
that's
him being an
where
idiot
I
even more.
lost my mind when Shaggy said that at the end. I was just like, "Oh my god, that's brilliant social commentary."
Yeah, that was pretty good. So I'll give that one.
I enjoyed the Wayne's World commercial.
To a certain point.
To a certain point, yes.
Okay, here's a question I had from that commercial. Has Cardi B ever seen Wayne's World?
No.
Probably not. No.
I also said hard no on that.
I guarantee she didn't know who either one of them were. I will guarantee you. Like, you don't know who I am? I'm Mike Myers, Austin Powers. She's like, oh, you mean like the guy who kills people in Halloween?
Yeah, Dana Carvey.
I meant Mike Myers. I was so scared.
She's probably thought Dana Carvey was used to be the president or something.
Yeah, former President Dana
George
Carvey,
Bush.
Habitat for Humanity.
It was pretty funny seeing what is he? He's got to be 60 years old now, right?
Two of them are in their 60s. Yeah,
are they at least 50s, if not 60s? But where they kind of did the slow down, sexy Garth. I thought that was really funny with Dana. I felt like Dana Carvey was having a hell of a time with that.
Mike Myers was born in 1963. He will be 58 this year.
So we aged him slightly. Sorry, dude.
He's about
Dana Carvey has the same birthday as I do.
In all honesty,
so you're about 60?
So you're almost 60?
Dana Carvey will be, 61 in June.
Okay, so he is technically 60. We're good.
55. No, he'll be 66 in June.
This isn't a math podcast, ladies and gentlemen, so don't worry.
No.
we math.
Sorry, I don't know if you can see how red I am, but I've had a lot of wine tonight.
We are full of nachos and a lot of booze right now.
What type of wine pairing would you suggest for nachos? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it depends. So we've been partaking of sangrias.
Okay.
This is Carlo Rossi raspberry sangria, $3.49.
Nice.
That's why. So it is less than $4, $3 and change a bottle. So you can get a plethora of bottles for less than $20.
Buy 6 bottles for $21.
And
that math and then the other math you can't do.
3 or 4 days, yeah.
Yeah. So we actually drank some pineapple sangria with our nachos. So our nachos were kind of I like a little heat. I like the jalapenos and stuff.
No, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
like a pineapple margarita with your nachos, yeah.
Right, exactly. So you have something a little sweeter to kind of offset the heat a little bit. Yeah,
it was very good. Yeah.
So, Richie, one thing that right before we went on the air, we were talking a little bit, and you basically replied to something with just the most defeated, it was just a really boring game. So, talking about the actual football of the Super Bowl, why did the Super Bowl suck so much?
Because it was a boring game.
It was. We expected a massive shootout. These two teams met on Thanksgiving Day. Mm-hmm. And in the first quarter, Patrick Mahomes threw for 200 plus yards, 202 of them to Tyreek Hill, who's a piece of shit, and 3 touchdowns. And they escaped with a 27-24 victory, and the Chiefs are known for their explosive offense.
The most prolific offense of like the last few years combined. So like, yeah.
And they scored 3 field goals and 0 touchdowns.
Like it was just boring. And when you have one team being served penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty, it just gets so. It's like, oh wait, there's the refs calling a penalty on the Chiefs
like 12-2.
Did you know those penalties were unjust?
Absolutely.
Some of them, not all of them. Some of them were.
And they weren't calling penalties on Tampa Bay.
Now, see, there are penalties.
You can't call penalties on Tom Brady. He's the one that decides what's a penalty.
Well, I mean,
that is true. That's very accurate.
You can clearly see which refs Tom Brady told that he would give blowjobs to after the shot.
Here's the thing.
He's like, hey, remember later.
Most of the time,
exactly.
Living in New England, we have watched the Patriots for the past 2+ decades. So seeing like, Brady will get up, complain to the refs, and they're like, that's a good point. Flag. Like, I've seen it happen 100 times. You can get away with things against certain quarterbacks. Like Cam Newton, for the longest time, guys were just crushing him and killing him. But if you look at Brady the wrong way, that's a 15-yard penalty. Like, I saw a guy, the Chiefs, 2 years ago, touched Brady.
How?
And stop it, Brady.
I don't know if you saw, but I just threw the flag. We're going to have to take this one back and start this over at the 15-yard line.
Against Mahomes, and generally they're very protective of their superstars, and Mahomes is absolutely a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
He took a forearm to the side of the head by a diving lineman and in direct view of the referee, and they did nothing. If this was against any other quarterback, like, I don't know how many more advantages they could possibly.
Tonight,
yeah,
Mahomes took a hit to the head, and typically that's a penalty.
15 yards contact to the head.
For Miles, even accidental, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
So I'll be real. This was the first game of the season that I watched, and I found it relatively entertaining until a point where it was clear that the top Raiders going to win.
Whoa, hold up. How much did the pirate pay to pierce his ears?
Oh, gosh.
Buccaneer.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
I remember when Brady went to Tampa Bay, I was telling people, I was like, oh, Tom Brady's too much to pay for corn. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? He's a Buccaneer.
No, you're going to make great fathers.
I've given him more of a goddamn, advantage. It's the first time a team is playing in their home stadium in the Super Bowl.
I wanted to talk about that part. Why did it have to be Brady of all the quarterbacks?
So do you feel like there's any pressure on like coming from the aspect that you clearly think that the game was unjustly called? Where do you think that comes from? Like, is that something? Do they want to tell that story that the Tampa Bay team wins in Tampa Bay, or like why? Why does this happen?
I just want to throw one thing out.
Okay, go ahead.
Thing I told you about.
Go ahead.
To give you an idea of how favorable things are, like there are pictures that have surfaced around and videos of, Brady celebrating a touchdown with the referees and, high-fiving refs, and it's like really weird shit that happens. And there was a game earlier this year where Brady was trying to drive for a win, and you need 10 yards to get a first down. And sometimes they will bring out the sticks and they will measure to make sure that you get a first down. And the Buccaneers were this far away, which is still pretty close, but they were this far away. And the referees were like, and they zoomed in because that's what the cameraman does. They're like, oh, looks like they're short. And the announcers are like, oh, looks like they're short. Looks like the drive's over and they're not going to win. And the refs are like, first down. And
no measurement.
It's like, they despite the measurement.
Oh, they actually pulled.
They had all physical proof that it wasn't a first down.
Like the video camera went right in, and they zoomed it. And all the announcers are like, "Oh, look at that! They're like 4 inches short," and the refs are like, "First down," and everyone's like, "What?" And Brady's just like, "Whatever. This is how they treat me." Like, he's such a diva because he's so used to it. And there are stories of quarterbacks who have been favorable with referees. There was a game where Terry Bradshaw was about to get absolutely murdered by somebody charging behind him, and the referee said, "Terry, look out behind you." And the guy went over him, and Bradshaw completed the pass, and the ref's like, "Listen, I can't keep doing this to you." Bradshaw himself told that story. Granted, it was like 20 years after he retired, but that shit happens. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, Brady makes money. Brady puts butts in seats. Brady has made the NFL so much money by winning ring after ring after ring that, and we all know that the NFL, like, that's their ultimatum. They just want to make money.
They don't care about anything
They
else.
don't care, which is why they had people at the event tonight, what I've been calling the Super Spreader Bowl, because, they really cared about people. They wouldn't have had people there, but people were there and, not properly.
Not everybody was masked.
There's a lot of cardboard cutouts, but there's a lot of people there still.
There was like 25,000, I believe.
Yeah,
25,000 people there still, but Brady makes money. Brady is making the NFL money with, his merchandise, with ticket sales,
his TB12 brand,
right? His branding, his all of the
if you drink
endorsements that he gets,
if
not
you
only
drink
does
water, you can't get a sunburn.
Not only does Tom Brady get endorsements for himself, but I'm sure he gets endorsements for his team. He gets endorsements for the NFL. Like, he's a household name. Everyone knows who Tom Brady is.
Tell him about
but hold up. To be fair, though, before we move on, I feel like Mahomes and Brady are both at the top of the list on, like, best-selling jerseys of the season. And, like,
1 and 2. Brady won.
Yeah, my only thing is that Mahomes is the one that's got to be bringing in the younger crowd. And that was the thing I was looking forward to in this game, is seeing, like, it's supposed to be like the passing of the torch. But this dude that injects, I guess, whatever Christopher Reeve should have been injecting if it's a South Park episode to stay young. I wasn't going to say it, but maybe Brady's doing that, and that's why he's staying young. And, like, I'm sorry, Brady looked like garbage last year. I don't care what anybody says. He started looking like Peyton Manning in the second half of the Super Bowl season with the Broncos, and he looked like garbage the entirety of last year. And it took him a while.
On the Patriots.
Yes. Okay. And I don't want to go as far to say, like, I'm not one of those people that thinks the NFL is, like, fully rigged. There's always a little bit in all sports, I'm sure. I mean, look at the Astros. But, like, I'm sure it happens a little bit. But I feel like this game went exactly the way it was supposed to. Everyone picked the Chiefs to win because Patrick Mahomes can sling it like we haven't seen in a while. That play today where he was getting chased and hit and he fell sideways and threw it, like, that was remarkable. And
dude, there's a whole run. There's a whole run there that he was doing those passes, and that was why I was saying I was so entertained. But, like, to me, again, not a big fan, but it felt like his receivers were just letting him down left and right because he was making these incredible throws and nobody would come down with the ball.
Well, and go figure, you have the other team basically triple covering his best receiver, too. They got 2 safeties playing deep and one guy following around when everybody said no one defensive back could follow Tyreek Hill around. But they pulled it off. He was a non-factor until it was garbage time. So, like, they just had a very basic idea, but they executed it well. Like, I guess if you're Mahomes, you should have been throwing to Kelsey a lot more, but he already did throw to him a lot. But you're missing your 2 tackles, basically. Like, this game went about it. Like, when you really look at it on paper with who's out, it went about the way you expect it to. And I should have seen it coming, and I didn't.
It went exactly the way that, like you're saying, like, it went. And to kind of touch on what you said last year, about last year, I will give Brady this. Like, I hate seeing him win all the time, but the fact is he's the best quarterback that's ever played. The fact that he brought that team to the playoffs last year and put up the numbers he did, and they ran back essentially the same team, but added Cam Newton instead of Tom Brady, and Newton had, like, 5 touchdown passes this year, just shows you, like, how good Brady is, because he took this team and threw 40 touchdowns and brought him to the Super Bowl.
But he also started inviting his friends to join the team. Like, everybody he wanted. They're like, yeah, whatever you want.
The only one he had was Edelman.
Yes, he's missing Edelman.
I saw that was so incredible to me. They said it during the fourth quarter, and hopefully I get it right, don't mess it up. But basically they said that going into this game, Tom Brady had the highest win percentage in all of the 4 sports, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the lowest winning percentage in all of the 4 major sports in the U.S. And yeah, Brady's first year on the team, and they take a championship. That's a movie. That to me goes back to your like, is it scripted thing? And I made a joke like this morning. I called him Tom Cena, and I just did a really shitty Photoshop of
it was
Tom
awful,
Brady.
absolutely awful Photoshop.
I made it like 30 seconds, bro. What do you want from me? But
at least have him in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey, at least.
I like the face he is making. It looks very Cena-esque. But regardless, that's not the point. The point is, like, why doesn't the NFL just go full on WWE style? Let's just make it real damn entertaining. We can incorporate like the Hard Knock show into it. We can get some like Total Bellas type of spin-off show where we follow like the Real Housewives of the NFL or whatever. I just want to create a whole bubble of artificial reality. If they're gonna like kind of manipulate things a little bit, I say they just go all in on it.
Honestly, I'm down for that because that's probably the only way the Cowboys will make the Super Bowl again. Because to be honest with you, that's how I know the NFL is not fake and rigged. Because if it was, the Cowboys would be a lot more relevant because they're so hated by most of the world outside of Dallas, but loved inside. Like they're too popular to not have in the final moments, basically, or to hit somebody with a chair.
I think Dallas are about the same.
I think that if Prescott had not gotten injured, that we would have seen the Cowboys in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah, but they wouldn't have done anything. Their defense is too awful.
You just needed 6 wins to get it. You still almost made it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I seriously think that if Prescott had not gotten injured, especially injured the way that he did,
that was nasty too.
Yeah, that was gross.
That way, because I mean, he was on fire.
Well, I mean, but you got bring it back to Super Bowl. You got to give Mahomes credit because he wasn't playing healthy either. They kept talking about
what his surgery is.
Yeah, they announced it. They didn't say. I don't think they said exactly what his injury is, but they did say that he was going to require surgery after this game
because he got wrecked against Kansas City.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland looked okay against Buffalo, and then he did not look like Mahomes. Like there were a couple of times, but there was a lot that he was clearly hurting. I will say this though, and Miles, I know you're not a huge NFL guy, but there's a quarterback for the Cardinals. His name is Kyler Murray, and someone pointed out that when he runs like a toddler that just stole some candy. And I want to look that up on YouTube, and not right now, but look at it and tell me how accurate it is.
Okay.
As soon as someone pointed that out, the next game I'm like, yep, he looks like.
That's how my niece and nephews run. That's hilarious. I'll check that out.
Also about like 5'3", but
so my height, is that how I run?
I haven't seen you run.
I just always picture Tina from Bob's Burgers whenever anyone wants to talk about somebody running because that makes my day. But
Tina,
yeah, Miles, to bring it back into perspective for you, Miles, I heard a stat earlier or last week, I think it was. I think they said Tom Brady had like 53 or 54. Or no, I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes had 53 or 54 wins overall, and Tom Brady had like 43 to 45 postseason wins. So he's almost got that just paints the picture right there. Like Mahomes is going to go on to do great things, I'm sure, unless he gets unless he's on Madden and gets a career-ending injury. But I think everyone just wanted to see a closer game. If they would have had a closer game and Brady would have won, I would have been like, at least that was a close game and you could see Mahomes' strengths. But like, you really just, when you've got that defensive line that Tampa Bay has, which are a bunch of people that I absolutely despise because again, Cowboys fans. So Jason Pierre-Paul, don't give 2 shits about you piece of crap giant, ex-giant. And then Ndamukong Suh,
that guy.
Like, nobody likes any of you. Like, go away. And then they had such a great game.
I even know Sue is like a notoriously dirty player, right? Like, doesn't he try to break people's ankles by
he stomped on a dude's head when the guy lost his helmet.
Oh yeah, I've even heard of that dude just being a complete douchebag.
Yeah, so
I do have one other quick stat to kind of go off what Miles was saying earlier. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers started their existence in the NFL by losing 33 consecutive games.
Oh my God, dude.
They won once over 2 seasons.
That's incredible on its own. Wow. So we kind of started talking about Sue as a piece of shit, and that reminds me of some other people that are
Nice
pieces of
segue,
shit.
Miles.
And, yeah, thanks. I was proud of that one. I also brought up the show Hard Knocks earlier when I was talking about making football like WWE and just script it all. But I actually do watch the show Hard Knocks, which I just find entertaining. Which is it's like the HBO or Showtime show that they do where they like go into the locker room during preseason. Well, I remember I texted Richie during the game because the third touchdown was Tom Brady to Antonio Brown. And I texted Richie, I was like, is that douchebag that like burned his feet doing chirotherapy like in the off season or some like all that, and like that led to a conversation of some of the other terrible things that he has done. And Ashes, I know you have some things that you want to say. I saw you on Facebook. What do we want to say about Antonio Brown, and why does it suck that he has a Super Bowl ring?
God, I don't even know where to begin with that.
I'll fill in any gaps you have.
So really what it comes down to is Antonio Brown is a hot piece of garbage. He is a garbage person. And I hate the way that the NFL coddles these garbage players. I mean, these garbage people if they are talented players.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like going back to like even like in high school and stuff when I would play sports, and when it's like the super talented athletes just suddenly handed an A on their test or whatever. It's like it just keeps escalating from there all the way into like the pro version of that.
It's like, yeah, your domestic abuse, charges, your sexual assault accusations. We're just gonna sweep that under the rug because you can catch a football and you could throw a ball really far. So we're just gonna kind of fly high.
But if you smoke weed outside of the game, you can't play football.
Don't you dare smoke exactly. On the sideline. How fucking dare you?
But I'm tired and I like to get high.
Yeah.
Plus, this song is boring.
Frustrating to see these players who have all of these accusations just piled and piled and piled on top of them. I mean, there are some arguments what they do in their off time. What they do off the field shouldn't be held against them on the field. But athletes are so different.
Yeah, you're putting
we're in too much spotlight.
So like that's kind of where I like jokingly was saying I disagree about making fun of people's appearances, and I to some extent largely do agree with you for what it's worth. But like that type of like idea of you putting yourself into the limelight works both ways. Like, yes, you are going to take more criticism from people, but you also are going to be held to a higher level of just being a decent person. Not that everybody shouldn't be, but like absolutely you should be on and off the field because like it or not, people and especially younger people are looking up to you.
And not only that, sometimes it feels, especially in the NFL, like it becomes almost like an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
Where you hear all of these reports and then you hear one report and then more pop up because more people, more victims feel that they can they feel emboldened. They feel like, hey, you know what, I have a story to tell too. And seeing as I see other people speak up, I feel that I also need to contribute my story. And nobody does anything, nobody listens, even when there's photographic evidence, or
video evidence.
If there hadn't been video of Ray Rice, he would have still been with the Ravens.
And you never get an apology from the player until after everyone speaks
They
up.
made his girlfriend apologize.
Yep.
Wait, who made his girlfriend apologize?
The NFL and the Ravens. Like, she came out and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have provoked him to the point where he beat me unconscious in an elevator.
And dragged me on video by the hair.
Yeah, I saw that video. That was fucking crazy.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know who Chad Wheeler is?
That name sounds
really
familiar, but I can't think of who it is off the top of my head.
Way more familiar because he is an NFL player who was recently released by the Seahawks, who said that they were saddened and disappointed by his behavior.
Yeah.
He, 6'7", 315 pounds, choked out to the point of unconsciousness. His girlfriend, who is 5'9", 120, I might be off on those numbers, but it's give or take. It's ballpark. One is a massive professional athlete. The other is a young lady who is not nearly his size. So he choked her out, and she locked herself in the bathroom because when she regained consciousness, she found him sipping on a smoothie, and his first thought expressed to her was, "Oh, you're alive."
Oh my God.
He locked herself in the bathroom, and he was trying to, called her family, called the police, when they finally came and got him.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't heard anything. But they're
the,
saddened. They're saddened and disappointed.
The Seahawks have released him, but any other team could pick him up.
They won't.
The NFL hasn't condemned him.
But he's not that good. He's just a left tackle.
Right. Whereas Antonio Brown
scores touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So Antonio Brown did not have a job.
Right, because he got cut from the Raiders.
Well, to be fair, he's been picked up twice by Tom Brady. Not the team that Tom Brady was on, but Tom Brady personally handpicked him to come to the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Is that
that's my thing. He didn't have a job. Tom Brady said, "Hey,
I want him.
I want him.
So,
why him?
So what
you
happened
could choose
was
anybody else. Why him?
Wasn't he living in Tom Brady's house too?
Yes, he lived with him.
Yep.
Twice. He was with the Raiders.
Is he not worried about Giselle? What's up with that?
The Raiders gave him all kinds of money, and he started acting like a complete asshole.
I'm not going to wear the new helmets.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear the helmet. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm going to burn my feet at cryotherapy because I'm an idiot. And he started trying to fight the general manager. He was causing all kinds of problems so he could get released. And there was a video of him when he was told that he was released, running like a 9-year-old kid running. I'm free. I'm free. You're free from what? You're 30 million guaranteed? Like what? Who was oppressing you? Running through his yard, leaping in the air like friggin' Peter Pan, trying to fly off to Never Neverland.
Well, he's probably on.
Would be a better result, it sounds like.
And then he was picked up by the Patriots, and all he had to do was not be a dick for like 3 days. But the woman who accused him of sexual assault, he started texting her, and the Patriots had no choice but to release him.
Yeah.
And then he was suspended for the rest of the year and for the first 8 games of this year. Now, Russell Wilson also wanted him on the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner that we saw on this.
I was gonna say, didn't he get a reward for like being a good human?
Yes, but he wanted this guy. Now, he's not even the biggest piece of shit that was on the field today. Tyreek fucking Hill. Tyreek Hill, when he was drafted.
Who had the Super Bowl ring as well.
Yep. When he was drafted.
Or would have got a second one tonight, then it sounds like. So either way, there's a problem. Like, there's a problem. It sounds like there's not a single team out there that could win and not have somebody who doesn't deserve it.
So to catch you up on his history, when he was drafted, there were allegations of his then girlfriend, still girlfriend, who was pregnant, and he punched her in the stomach. And then after, he was questioned about it after being drafted. He's like, yes, I've learned that punching my pregnant girlfriend in the stomach is the wrong thing to do, and I shouldn't do that. It's like, oh, good. You learned that in your 20s?
After you did it?
And a few years later, because apparently this is a pattern with him, he was caught on audio because the girlfriend stayed with him, had the kid, and he was punching the child in the chest, trying to toughen him up, make him a man. He was 4.
I've heard some of that audio. It's not fun.
Yeah. That's and he told her, he's like, you're not going to tell anybody because I'll fucking kill you.
So this is
but hold up, but everyone gives him accolades for being like the best receiver, where I've literally heard sports radio talk about how they don't think anybody can guard him from the past, present, or future because of how quick and how good he is. And they'll go, but we're not counting all that other off the field stuff. So like,
no, I count that off the field shit.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to go back to is like this. You're absolutely right about the on-off field stuff. It can't be cut off. And I kind of feel about it like the responsibility has to be picked up by someone, and it should be picked up by the NFL, but it sounds like it's leaving it on the teams individually, which, as Ashes, you pointed out, that means that like nobody is ever done. They just have to be inconvenienced by moving or, going to a different team, where then the cycle just repeats itself and continues.
Basically.
The last time somebody was really held accountable for their actions was Michael Vick.
Oh, yeah, I know all about that one.
And that was because it was an animal abuse case.
Sure.
Yeah. He went to federal prison, but he came back into the league too.
Yes.
Because he could still play.
I want to say something really bad and controversial here, because the Hall of Fame, they do not take off the field stuff into account when you're electing.
That's why Warren Sapp's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I don't think they should for the Hall of Fame. I think it should all be about the numbers, because it's a reflection of the league itself. And these are issues in the league. So I think it just brings more light on the issues, even if you elect these people into the Hall of Fame. If Barry Bonds were in the Baseball Hall of Fame, there'd be a lot more talk about steroids in it. Roger Clemens, same thing. But it's Michael Irvin had a lot of talk about what he did off the field the year he was elected into the Hall of Fame. So
Michael Irvin stabbed the guy in the neck with a pair of scissors.
Michael Irvin did a lot worse stuff than that. He did a lot worse stuff than that. He was having a ball all the time back in the 90s when all the Cowboys were taking guns to the airport. But I think it should be about the numbers when it's
Michael Irvin helmet right there.
Oh, nice. And don't I'm guilty of liking the guy too, because when he gets on sports radio and he talks,
stabbing a guy in the neck.
No, just myself with insulin. But
no, they called it locker room horseplay.
Exactly, yeah. But when he gets on the radio and talks about the past and talks about football, it jazzes you up, and he's a personality, and they're tricky.
So charismatic.
Yeah, they're tricky about stuff like that, where they get people to charismatically win you over, and you don't even realize what they're doing at the time. I think the NFL is very, very clever about how they do a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're paid to. That's why they're so profitable. But if you look behind the curtain, there's just all this awful stuff that's there. But it's just sorry, go ahead, Patsy.
I would say, if the NFL were to hold people accountable, those players wouldn't be getting into the Hall of Fame, because they would no longer be players.
See,
their careers, if you end their career when something like this happens, their career won't continue. They won't gain all of these points. They won't, continue to run all of these yards.
Get all these
they won't,
records and everything.
Continue to get Super Bowl rings. They won't have the stats to make it to the Hall of Fame, because they won't have the longevity of a career to get them there.
That's the train running in the background, because I want to get on this train with you right now, Ashes.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Patty. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I do think that certain things you need to take into account and use those things. There's a reason Curt Schilling isn't in the Hall of Fame, and it's because mostly of his political views. And, this was one of the rare years when no one was elected into the Hall of Fame for baseball.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder to get into that Hall of Fame too. They take that shit seriously over there.
What's the limit? If you're convicted of spousal abuse or sexual assault, like Ben Roethlisberger, if you're and the NFLPA, they have the biggest issue, because Roethlisberger was suspended 6 games by the commissioner for his alleged sexual assault. The NFLPA got him down to 2 games. So what is
the NFLPA?
National Players Association.
Players, got it.
The union.
So
I'm sorry.
Simpson is still in the Hall of Fame. He hasn't been removed.
And I'm going to throw another controversial thing out there too. Then you got a guy like Ezekiel Elliott, who literally they caught his girl texting another friend saying, "Hey, I want you to lie about all this stuff that I'm going to say he did to me." And Ezekiel Elliott still had to serve a full suspension and didn't get his reduced, when literally the rumor is that they both just rough sex, and she had multiple texts where she had lied about saying what he did, and he still had to serve a full suspension.
They wanted to use him as an example. They're okay, this is a marketable name. Here's a slight scandal. We can go with this. We'll do this.
I feel like that's a very rare exception, though.
It is, but it's just you got to talk about both sides, though, right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying you can't bring it up. I wasn't trying to censor you. I'm just commenting that I do feel like very rare exception. But we've been going for a while on this, so I do want to kind of go back towards just like the happy side of football. But I'm going to say one thing here, that I think all of these things that we've talked about stems from something that I believe for a long time in general. And that's just that there is just too much fucking money in all of professional sports. Because the reason these scandals are happening is because you have these kids that essentially don't get a great education because they get passed through their classes because they were good at the sports ball. And therefore, when they find themselves millionaires at 20, they don't have the ability to make cognitively good decisions.
I can give you an idea, a guy that came right to mind. There was a linebacker for Ohio State named Andy Katzenmoyer. And that's
a last name.
He was an absolute monster, but he was so goddamn dumb. Mm-hmm. And Sports Illustrated did a bunch of stuff about how his classes were like, he took golf and he took like all these bullshit classes to keep his GPA above a certain point. And they interviewed his father, and his father said, "What does he need this for? He's a football player. That's what he's going to do." He was drafted by the Patriots, and in the preseason hurt his neck and ended his career.
He's done. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't. It's not to say that I think the players should get paid for what they do. I respect the fact that they're in a career that has a limited shelf life compared to other things that you can do.
Brain damage.
I think in general, big time brain damage. I think in general, money needs to just be taken. I mean, all of the military involvement, the flyovers. How much money did it cost to fly 3 bombers over that thing?
Have you heard?
Why are we spending money on this?
Have you heard the report about like the money exchange between like the national anthem and the sponsorship behind that? With the
only reason we play the national anthem in football games is because the military paid the NFL to do so.
And that's a whole shady other business side of it.
And I think that just fuels the fire and leads to a lot of the controversies and all that good stuff. But I'm glad that we talked about that. This has definitely been a different episode than what we normally do. Frankly, it's been weird, but it's been fun.
It's been a great conversation.
It's been a really good conversation. Let's go back, though, just because I don't want to push too much further on the time on this. But one last thought, if you have any final thoughts on the football game itself. And then the question that I really want to know, does anybody think that Tom Brady's going to retire?
No.
You already said he's not.
He's already talking
about...
How
was I supposed to know that? Was I supposed to check the news before I watched?
It was literally at the end of the game. After they gave him the MVP award, even though it should have gone to the whole defense of the Bucs.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I immediately turned it off and went to the restroom when the football game ended.
I came to do my giveaways. No, he's already talking about his next contract. He's under contract until next year. And I was talking with Ash about this. I'm like, he's playing really well. I think he is going to challenge the record held by George Blanda, who is a kicker and quarterback who played from 1949 to 1975. He played last
26 years.
He played his last.
How long has Tom Brady played now? How many seasons is he in?
21, 22.
Oh my God!
He was drafted in 2000, 199th pick in 2000. Blanda played till he was 48.
And how old is Tom Brady?
43, 42.
Okay.
He's 43.
So this is a very knock on wood and all things. I'm not trying to curse him here, but it sounds like this is a very achievable record.
He's a guy. He's a weird dude. He has these weird all the people that go to his medicinal guru Alex. Is it Gutierrez? I forget his name, but
it's TB12 stuff, right?
Yeah, all the TB12 stuff.
It sounds like a Guerrero. I feel like we're gonna get a Showtime documentary about all the weird shit that went on in TB12.
All the other guys that go to him and get his supplements end up getting suspended, including Julian Edelman. But Brady has some weird. He's like, yeah, so. The reason I don't get concussions is because I drink a lot of water, and if you eat lots of tomatoes, you can't get a sunburn. Those are legit, actual things that he has said.
I heard you say that earlier, and I literally was wondering, is that a Ralph Wiggum thing that I was
no,
I just didn't catch the reference?
Tomatoes, you will not get a sunburn.
Hold up. You guys know
I'm a scientist.
You guys know the secret to his success, right? He did an ad about it many years ago. His ad released one year, and it shows
Citizen watches. They're unstoppable.
No, because that guy was definitely stoppable. That's why his career stopped so abruptly. He always drinks a bottle of Butterscreamy Goo. That's why he always is successful, right?
That'll do it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Richie, did you have any other thoughts on Tom Brady or the football game that we just watched tonight?
I will talk mad shit about Brady all the time, and I will admit it's because I think the Patriots, no offense to the New Englanders up there, are one of the most boring franchises in all of sports. Like, there's nothing fun about the Patriots at all. There's nothing flashy about the Patriots. And I'll also just say that, like, I think Brady's had a lot of help, even though they say he does it by himself a lot of the time. He's had a lot of great players that people throw under the bus and don't mention. But I will also give the man credit because he wins when it matters most, which is what football players are supposed to do.
thing with that.
Yeah, like he will be the greatest quarterback that we see, question mark. And the only reason I put the question mark on there is because the rules of the NFL change every year to make the game more offensive. And I think that's helped players like Patrick Mahomes, and I think it will continue to help them. And people talk about the greatest ever and what the greatest team is ever, and I hate that conversation because, like, if I put up the Orange Crush defense of the Denver Broncos versus the Patriots of all the great Super Bowl runs, with the current rules, it's going to lean towards the Patriots. But if it's from the older rules, I would lean towards the Broncos. So I feel like it's an unfair game to play.
Here's a fun stat to show you just how much the game has played while Brady has been playing. In his first full year as a starter, he led the league in touchdown passes with 28. 28 touchdown passes now, you're middle of the road. Like Baker Mayfield had 26. Like, and everyone's talking about how great he is.
And that was all at the end of that
that's
season.
just the evolution of the game in general. The rules that have changed.
3 drives have thrown for 50 touchdowns since then.
Oh, wow. You know, you guys talked about how boring the Patriots were a second ago.
Not just me, not everybody else.
From the outside looking in, I always think of the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots as like the exact same team. Like, they have like an odd following all around the country where they have little pockets of fandoms and everybody else just fucking hates them. Their fans have this absurd like notion that they're like more special than they are. Richie still claims the Dallas Cowboys are America's team, which
you never let me follow up on why.
I would say the Patriots are at this point.
You never let me talk about why I believe that they're America's team.
Let me just say,
I don't feel like they're America's team.
As an objective,
it's a moniker. That's their name. That's what they were.
That's like the United States calling themselves the best country in the world. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, but everyone else.
Why do you bring it up?
I'll look at it like this. As someone growing up in New England and seeing this phenomenon firsthand, watching the way the Patriots have ascended and the way that they have established their cult over the past 20 years, Patriots fans became the one thing that they always hated, which was Yankees fans.
Yep.
And since then, in the past decade, they have become Trump supporters because no matter what Bill Belichick does, it's always the right move. I can't tell you how many people I heard, oh, Brady's done. He should be out of here. I don't care. Oh, Bill will find the next guy. We got Stidham. It doesn't matter.
I'm walking here.
Oh, my God. And then these same people will be like, yeah, I was wearing a Brady jersey because I knew that Tom was going to win the Super Bowl. I've always been a Brady backer.
They claimed that they burned it last month, but they just stuffed it in the back of their closet for a few days.
Burned a Brady jersey. Not around here, they didn't. No, I'm telling you. When they won the Super Bowl the first time, after Brady took over for Bledsoe, after he got his catastrophic injury.
Because he bled so much.
Highlighted the hypocrisy of Bill Belichick because Bledsoe got hurt, Brady took over, and they went on that amazing run. Then Brady got hurt in the AFC Championship, and Bledsoe led them to victory against the Steelers to put them in the Super Bowl. They were like, oh, all the media, who's going to start the Super Bowl? Belichick goes, well, you can't lose your starting job due to injury. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's what happened to Bledsoe. When Brady started, and then everyone, when Brady was playing, like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, the season's over. We're going to have to draft somebody. Oh, it's going to be terrible. Then at the end of the year, we never would have won that Super Bowl with Bledsoe. We never would have won that Super Bowl with Bledsoe. Bledsoe's a bum. Get rid of him.
And then he came to Dallas.
Montana.
Yeah, honestly, you're convincing me more and more that Patriots and Cowboys fans are the exact same because they do that to every single Cowboys quarterback for the last decade plus.
Well, I mean, Romo was good.
Which is only 2 for the record.
This is true, yeah.
That's range.
It's been Romo and Dak for the past 15 years. Like, Romo took over for Bledsoe.
I stand by my statement. I don't need facts. It's 2021. If anything, I've learned in 2020 that facts don't matter.
But yeah, as an objective observer, because I'm a Raiders fan. I have been since 1986. I rooted for the Patriots.
How did that happen?
My dad's a Raiders fan.
Okay, yeah, cool.
That's why I'm a Broncos fan after the Cowboys. So fuck you.
Oh, well.
Damn, dude.
Oh,
nice. You have the ability to do a quick
signature is that? I can't see it.
Drew Lock.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, it's worthless, but wow.
Real quick, because you got a lot of football stuff back there. Can you do a flyby on it?
Out a little bit. We've got a Jarvis Landry replica helmet.
Nice.
We have this insane Derek Brooks.
Hey, they just won the Super Bowl.
Hey, do you know what a pirate said on their 80th birthday?
I'm 80.
I love you, Patsy.
You know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
C, because they always get stuck at C.
Yeah, this is Rod Woodson, Hall of Famer Rod Woodson.
Rod Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, played for the Raiders and coached them. I have another mini helmet of Rod Woodson, a mini helmet of Charles Woodson, who just got Hall of Fame. Doug Flutie, along with my Flutie Flakes.
Nice.
Oh, nice, dude.
I won this. I won most of these. This nice.
Oh, that's a cool helmet.
Patriots helmet, yeah.
That's a really cool helmet.
Rob Ninkovich.
When you say you won these, where do you win these things from? Like, how do you...
in a group.
Oh, nice.
So they're like, all right, we have this box. Who do you think's in the box? And you put money towards it.
Yeah, totally.
Earl Campbell Oilers helmet. This is the Griffin brothers, Shaquille and Shaquem, for the Seahawks, and I forget which one of them because they have very similar names. One of them is missing his right hand, like his hand just ends, but he was able to get drafted. They both play together, and I've got that. I've got a nice Patriots helmet, but it's signed by Zdeno Chara, former captain of the Boston Bruins.
Interesting. Wow. That's a quick story, and then let's do our plugs and predictions. Predictions for next year's Super Bowl.
I found it online, and I was like, this is a really cool little thing. Like, I want to get one of these because I like Zdeno Chara. So,
why were they signed though by a hockey player?
Just interesting.
Some memorabilia to kind of separate from other stuff.
Just make it strange. Very cool. All right, guys. Like I said, it's been a weird conversation, but it's actually been a really fun conversation. I'm so glad that you guys were both able to join us tonight. Any other final thoughts? And if you guys want to plug, I know you got the Throwdown Thursday podcast and anything else that you want to let the people know about.
Final thoughts. It was nice of the halftime show to be sponsored by both Pepsi and Depends.
And Coke.
The
Depends because the whole face.
Diapers.
They were wearing diapers on their head.
I didn't watch any of it.
I didn't watch the halftime show either. I had no desire to.
I thought it was okay. It was definitely an underwhelming halftime show, but
they all are now.
It kind of mirrored the rest of the game. It was just kind of boring.
Tom Brady was definitely the shining star of that one too.
Yeah,
even though he was in very little of it.
We have Throwdown Thursday that drops every Thursday. This week coming up, we did a nice big Godzilla versus Kong 2.5 hour wild speculation-a-thon with some of our friends. We have the Loudest Sports Show that we've been doing for about 6 months, where we
You are horrible at promoting yourself.
We yell about stuff. Well, go ahead, promote me.
I don't want to promote you.
Wait till the camera's on.
Buy his book.
Yeah.
Buy my book. Oh, I don't. It's over there.
At Oxeye Media, right?
Oxeye Media.
Or Amazon if you want to, give money to Satan.
And
I heard Amazon are huge Antonio Brown fans. Just throwing that out there.
Amazon starts with A. Antonio starts with A. Ends with N.
Ends with N.
I was telling Miles earlier, I feel terrible because I had him on my fantasy team for 3 or 4 years in a row, and I loved him every year. That was about 3 years before all the allegations came out, and then I felt like such a dick after that. But he was fantasy gold for a lot of seasons.
Like the time he threw the couch off the friggin' balcony and almost killed a toddler.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, that was in his apartment. He got mad about something, so he started heaving furniture off a 5th floor balcony and just missed a 2-year-old.
How many fantasy points would Richie got if it did hit the 2-year-old?
Well, it depends on how bad he was injured.
Fair. I don't think you actually ever said where you can follow you guys at.
So the best place to find us is throwdownthursdaypodcast.com. That has links to all of our latest episodes. You can find all of our social medias there, some fun articles that have been written. Mm-hmm. So that's the best place. Throwdownthursdaypodcast.com.
And who is going to win next year's Super Bowl?
The NFL.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Always been on the house.
With all the quarterbacks moving around, who knows? There's some crazy shit going on.
Say the LA Rams. Go ahead.
I mean, I like the Rams. I do like the Rams.
A lot more now.
With Stafford, I always said that dude could be good if he was in a good system. I watch Calvin Johnson come out of retirement.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Although he did get elected to the Hall of Fame, I don't know if you can.
Richie, do you have a more definitive guess, and also tell them where they can find our stuff?
Well, first of all, I want to backtrack to what I said earlier because I said this is a great conversation. I meant to say an interesting conversation. Let me clarify that because that was in the midst of all the NFL players being terrible human beings. That's not the great part, but I liked having good perspective on the conversation today. So thank you guys for joining us. It's always fun to talk with both of you. On the other side of the fence from your show, we have our show, Best Darn Diddly. You can follow Miles at Mr. Most Days Off on all social media because he's got his own stand-up career going on here. You can follow me at the Wiz_Kid23. You can follow our show at Best Darn Diddly. That's DIDDLY. Super Bowl pick for next year. I'd rather just say I honestly don't know who can top Kansas City if they're at full strength. I don't think Buffalo can do it. So I guess Kansas City and maybe Green Bay, like everyone expected this year, if they actually draft a good receiver to help out Aaron Rodgers and maybe another defensive player. And he's all fired up now. So I guess you got to go Green Bay, Kansas City, and then who knows what can happen there. I'll be the one Cowboys fan to say not the Cowboys. I don't think a good draft will save them because I think they're just mismanaged and mishead coached even with a newer head coach. Yeah, I just
McCarthy is garbage.
They're just lackluster. I kind of like the hiring of Dan Quinn, but that's because he's willing as a defensive guy because he's willing to go in at halftime and be like, I'm not just going to keep running the same scheme like Jason Garrett always did. This isn't working. Let's change and try something different to stop the other team from scoring on us. So, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be good. That just means that you're willing to change your mind halfway through the game. So I'd love to say Cowboys, but I can't do it.
Reasonable. I have no idea. I don't watch football.
Just say Tampa Bay.
You know what? I'm actually just going to go out and say the team that I hope that they cover on Hard Knocks. And part of me wants to say Dallas just because it'd be interesting to see. I like the local stuff and whatnot. But I think just because I like the city so much, and I know Richie and I both like them, the Denver Broncos would be a really interesting.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I know.
They won the Super Bowl that year after Homer got them.
They're the whole Mile High City and whatnot. I'd just be curious to see how training camp is for those folks.
You just like them because high is in their name.
It's also true, not gonna lie. I mean, they are in Denver. That makes sense. But guys, thank you so much. This was super fun, super weird, a really good time. We touched a lot of interesting conversation, got to a lot of interesting conversation, and I always love talking to you guys. You guys are the absolute best. You know that. Make sure you guys come back and tune in again next week with us, because Richie and I will be back to The Simpsons. And the reason we've been rescheduling, the streak will continue. Dr. Andrew Briseno, and he might be bringing a student that is doing something relevant to The Simpsons. So I'm excited to talk to them about that, and we're going to be covering a fantastic episode, EI, Go!
Very nice.
Nice.
Go to Disney World.
And until next time, be cromulent to each other.